Okay, hello and welcome to Be Prepared Calaveras, the show where we talk about how to stay safe, prepared, and connected in our beautiful Calaveras County community. I'm your host, Martha Rubin, and on today's episode, we are shifting the conversation from emergency preparedness to educational preparedness. I'm joined here by Dr. Ronald J. Estes, Superintendent of Calaveras Unified School District, and Scott Nanik, Superintendent of the Bret Harte Union High School District. Together, we'll discuss how our shows are preparing students, not just for the challenges of today, but for the opportunities of tomorrow. So I'm going to say I am in awe of both of you guys because together they have so many years. Dr. Estes here has over 40 years in the education world, and Scott has 24 years in education and a great varied background. Both of you have a good background in finance, and I understand that that's really important for our Calaveras County schools. But before we get into all of that, I'd like to thank you first for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
Welcome, certainly. You're welcome. And maybe tell a little bit about yourselves and how school opened this year.
Sure. Ron, you started first, so I'm going to let you go first.
Well, I'm Ronald Estes, and I'm the Interim Superintendent in the Calaveras Unified School District, and I've been in education 42 or 43 years. My wife's a now retired school nurse. I was started as a 7th and 8th grade teacher. I became a principal for 8 years, became superintendent in the Linden Unified School District in 1991, and was there until I retired in 2012. I was retired for a couple of years. I went back to work. I was superintendent of the Gustine Unified School District for 2.5 years. I stayed in the working world for a few more years. I worked in the business office at the San Joaquin County Office of Ed. And then I was retired all through COVID and missed all that, fortunately. But I was intrigued by the position of interim superintendent, and I came out of retirement last year, and I'm going to serve my second year as Calaveras as superintendent.
Great.
And then I'll retire again.
Yeah, right. 3 times, right? All right. And?
I'm Scott Nanik. I'm superintendent of the Bret Harte Union High School District, and this is my 4th year at Bret Harte. Previous to that, I was county superintendent of schools for 5 years. And as I approached the time of my first retirement, trying not to do 3 of them, I wanted to be closer to kids as I ended my career. I started out with working alternative education and working with our most challenging youth. And working at the county office, you kind of lose touch a little bit with kids. It's much more of an administrative political job than it is hands-on helping kids in school. So I wanted to be closer to them. And when the days get rough, it's so fun to just get out at lunch and see students and remember why you do this job.
Yeah, I see by both of you smiling and nodding that this is your life and your love and your passion. So thank you on behalf of all the kids and the families, for coming back and doing all the work that you do.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about how school opened? And is there anything new on campus that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I'll start with one of the things I saw. A fresh set of eyes in whether it's a school or a business is a good thing because someone from the outside can see things and ask questions as to why are we doing some of the things that we do or why aren't we doing some things. So one of the most obvious things I saw was we have to get our kids to school. And our enrollment has been in decline like many school districts after COVID. So we wanted to make efforts going into this year to increase our enrollment, get kids to school every day. We made adjustments to our schedules so that it's more, perhaps more user-friendly. And now we're only in the 3rd week of school now, but it looks like it's had an effect. We've been over 95% positive attendance in the majority of school days. We did have a Friday last week that was around 93%. So our goal is to get to 94% positive attendance every day. kids can't learn if they're not in school. So that's been a goal. Also this year, the new change in the cell phone policy for students at school. For the middle school, it's gone seamlessly. A few bumps at our high school, but we're still working through that. Now that'll increase student learning as well. Less distractions for kids at school. They don't have to deal with it. So those are the kinds of things we started working on this year.
Yeah. That's good. I think maybe you got some pushback on the cell phones, and they have to keep them away. But it's hard, you know.
Yep.
So I think it's a good policy. Great, congratulations on that.
So we started off, this is our 5th day of school. So we started a little bit behind their calendar. And things have gone well. We are also implementing new cell phone policies and procedures that actually the students have taken to and adjusted to very well. There's been very little pushback. Our number one rules, it's got to be put away, and that does not mean your pocket. You know, in their backpack, or what we have phone caddies in the rooms. They can check them in there if they felt that's better suits their needs. But our staff and students have really engaged with that, and it's been a non-issue so far. We also implemented this year a program called Minga, which is an electronic hall pass. Calaveras is also using it. It enables us to monitor students when they want a bathroom pass or they want a pass to go somewhere, where they're going, how long they've been out, control how many students are out of class at one time. So it makes it easier for us to monitor bathrooms and safety issues and kind of keep track of that. But it's also very handy for if a teacher needs to see the student, they can electronically request the pass to the student and they can get called right to that teacher. It's working very well, and we're excited for where it goes.
Yeah, that's innovative. You know?
Yeah, I want to mention that our high school principal at Calaveras High, Tracy Crawford, approached the Board of Supervisors about Minga and the program, and we were able to get funded for the first year of the program. Awesome. And I was amazed that they wanted to work with us on that, because in San Joaquin County, if I think I've asked for that, I'd been laughed out of the building. But this Board of Supervisors embraced it, and they gave us some money for the first year of implementation. So that was a good step.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a great tool for student safety.
Absolutely.
You know,
I think maybe that's what they had in mind.
Yep.
So talking about student safety, I guess there are SRO officers, safety, school resource officers on campus, and they are out there making friends with the students and teachers.
The relationships are a little different in the county. So my school resource officer is actually an Angels Camp Police Department officer. And he is on campus embedded with us, has an office on campus, is there on a regular basis to support kids, to open the questions, of course to deal with issues that arise. But the most important part a school resource officer does is build relationships and build those good feelings towards law enforcement isn't your enemy. We're here to help. We're here to get you through struggles. We're not here to arrest you or ticket you. Unfortunately, that does happen every once in a while. But they are very critical to the culture of the campus.
Yeah, we share a school resource officer. Scott McNerlin is our officer, and he's available to us a number of days during the week. He's instrumental in our school safety. He's a resource for us when we have questions about law enforcement or issues going on in the community. He's able to articulate what's going on so that we have a heads up. We had some issues with a community member at a football game. He did a fabulous job for us, and we're very pleased to have him on board with us.
Yeah, so that's good. So it's not always the students that they have to interface with.
And one thing is, because he works with the whole community, we try to keep things, articulate with him, because something might happen at school, and then there's things going on in law enforcement world that we're not aware of, and we don't really have a need to know. But when we make those two connections, then you have that aha moment for him, and then he'll tell us, oh, well, this is also going on. So it's been wherever you have a school resource officer or a deputy, it's always been a good experience for us in my time as a superintendent.
Yeah. Your district is elementary, middle, and high school.
Right.
And you have over 2,000
About
students.
2850. Yeah.
Almost 3,000
Yes.
students. Wow, that's.
And at one time, the district was over 3,000 students, I understand. I know from being down in Linden, driving up for football games, that Calaveras High was over 1,000 in maybe 15 years ago or so. So it's like many districts in California, we've been in declining enrollment for a number of years. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is a rural district, right?
Yes.
Rural farming, ranching.
Well, it depends on how the state classifies it. We're not considered rural. We're considered, I guess, suburban or some other designation. But yes, in my view, we're a rural school district, just like Linden was. Yeah.
Right. And Scott, your district is high school district.
High school only, about 600 students. Enrollment's held steady for the past 10 years or so. But like Ron, we're driven by industry and what brings families in that can provide living jobs.
Yeah.
And so that really affects our enrollment. On our end, the new Habitat for Humanity development coming into Angels Camp, which is going to be workforce housing, kind of excites us about the possibility of more families in the area.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so talking about workforce, we'll make a little shift and we'll concentrate on high school because that's for both of you. So there's a new program, well, not new, a program called CTE, which is Career Technical Education, offering classes for preparing students for their future. So would you address that a little bit for us?
Sure. CTE is just a new term for an old program. Used to be Regional Occupational Program, or ROP programs. And the state kind of shifted the terminology to be broader and get away from some peg holes that things were getting pushed into. So CTE is very alive and well in our schools in Calaveras County. At Bret Harte, we offer ag mechanics, livestock, auto shop, culinary, computer science, leadership classes, fire tech. So a very wide range of options for students to progress through those pathways and find one that interests them. And then we hand them off to the community colleges or some other pathway to finish that up and get their certifications.
Yeah, it seems that the pathways that you mentioned, the courses that are given, correlate right to, I know Columbia College has courses just like that, firefighting, culinary, automotive, I think, as well. And at Calaveras?
We have many of the same programs that Scott mentioned. Like the programs that he mentioned, I'd like to see more of our kids go on to the junior college and get their certifications there, because you can get a high-paying job with the welding certificates. Delta College also offers a aerodynamics engineering courses and certification, which are triple-digit jobs that people can get.
Exactly.
So I'd like to see more dual enrollment for our students at Calaveras High School, so that they can also take classes concurrently at Delta and at the high school and be earning college credit to go on to get their AA degrees as well.
Right. And just to verify, what dual enrollment means that students in high school can take courses at the college and get college credit.
Well, what I'd like to see is them that take the class at Calaveras High School and get Delta College credit. But yes, it can work both ways.
So I tend to say through the college.
Through the college.
Where it's located is independent of that. So we offer several dual enrollment courses, including general ed courses like the U.S. history requirement. We offer, they can finish high school and finish the U.S. history requirement in college all at the same time. We're doing the same thing in English and physics. And then we have dual enrollment. This year we're adding media design course that's dual enrollment. So we're always working with the college to offer more and more opportunities with the ultimate goal of sometime in the future, students walk our stage with getting both their high school diploma and their AA degree.
Wow. So that would mean then they could just go on to the completion for a bachelor's degree if they so desired, or they could get a job. Because you mentioned a lot of these programs you can get hired right away.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So great. Thank you so much for offering this.
We just had a meeting with the president of Delta College just yesterday at Calaveras at my district office. It's something I've been working on for a little while since I've been here, to at least get the dialogue started between our agencies and see what we can work out together. Because their presence has not been, they could have a better presence than they currently have. And Dr. Lawrenson, the president's in her 5th year, and she's very enthusiastic about doing that. So it's just the first of our discussions with Delta College.
Wow.
It was a very productive meeting, I thought.
I think so. And it wasn't just with Calaveras, it was with everyone in the county. Our county superintendent was there, Jared Hungersford, Scott was there, and many of the other districts were represented in one way or another.
Yeah, that's great. So they can cross over, anybody from Bret Harte could go to Delta, and anybody from Calaveras Union can go over to Columbia.
Mm-hmm. That's where most of our kids go right now. But I think Delta has fabulous CTE programs. They should be, I'm sure they're very proud of. I'd like to see more of our kids getting involved in that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's really good. So I wanted to talk a little bit about AI and how that affects education in, I'm going to hope in mostly positive ways. I know that there are some limitations and things, it's real, it's not real. How do you tell the difference? And we can talk about your appointment to the ACSA, and maybe you can explain what that acronym stands for and what that's all about.
So ACS is the Association of California School Administrators, and there's about 17,000 members in the state. And I was asked to be on the Emerging Technology Task Force, which has taken on AI and its effect in K-12 education and how we prepare our students. And at the same time, keep them safe, because one of the big concerns with AI is data privacy. Yeah. So over the summer, Google released a huge upgrade to AI in the educational field, and which enables us to hold the Google AI inside our own domains, which ultimately is what we want because it provides student privacy. It keeps all that data inside our domain and doesn't allow access from outside agencies to get to it. So it's a much safer environment for students to learn, to struggle, to fail, to make mistakes without it compromising the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We've released AI to our teachers because there are some huge tools to help with lesson planning and grading and tutoring with students around those realms. We're slowly working on how to roll it out with students, but we do know that they're all using it outside of school, outside of our domains.
Yeah.
It's a little bit worrisome, so our focus is on educating them on what kind of questions and what kind of data do you put into AI and what you shouldn't, and then learning them the appropriate way to ask AI questions that helps coach them and brainstorms with them, but doesn't produce a final product for them. And I think that's very important. We want those critical thinking skills, and AI can absolutely help develop those, but it can't be the solution.
Right.
It needs to be the question.
Yeah, yeah. Well, questioning is, the critical thinking of getting the information. Like, how do you make a search? So you have to ask it the proper questions. You have some type of control out of what goes on there.
Well, we don't want AI to take the place of student thinking.
Right.
There will be a tendency for, to cut corners and to use it for that, and that's the last thing that we want. We want it to be a tool so children can engage and ask questions and become better learners rather than it's doing the work for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
One of the big advancements over the summer was learning mode. Both ChatGPT and Google use a learning mode that basically lets you have a conversation with AI, that AI starts and guides the conversation and helps develop questions, but won't give them the answers. And so it kind of walks them through that process more effectively.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's great. I did not know. So the last thing that I want to talk about before we wrap up and you give us some highlights or insights or reminders of what we should be doing and looking for with our students is outreach to the community, to the parents. Are there programs for parents to understand AI, to understand what's going on in the community, or how to be involved in their students' progress to graduation and beyond?
Sure. I would like to say that we need parents in high schools. The typical response as your student gets older is to pull back as a parent and let them be more independent. But I like to remind parents, it doesn't mean you're out of the picture, and it means you need to shift your focus. You need to be watching out for things that don't add up, that don't look right. You need to check your student's backpack every once in a while for those vape devices and anything else that may show up that shouldn't be on campus. But most of all, reach out to your school administrators and your teachers and open a dialogue and have a conversation with what they can do to support. At Bret Harte, we have a curriculum committee, we have a culture committee, we have site council meetings. I just started this year a superintendent's task force where we're really inviting community members and parents to come on board and just have conversations about what we can do in education to make the system better, to make it more transparent, and make sure it addresses the needs of the students and their families. And I think that's a real important role for parents as their students get older.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
Yeah, as far as engagement goes, there are many fine programs in Calaveras Unified. When I got here, they certainly ran we certainly run more programs that support students and families than down the hill, like I'm fond of saying, in Linden. We didn't have quite as many. We didn't qualify for as many grants as Calaveras has. So our district does, I think, a lot to support parents. But at the same time, I can see that's a growth area for us as well, because there is a tendency for us to talk to each other in an echo chamber. So the administrators talk amongst themselves, the teachers talk amongst themselves, and sometimes we leave the parents out of that loop. So it's important that we engage them. And I always try to make a point at back to school nights, which we've been having, is to compliment parents who are there at the back to school nights, that one of the most important things that they do to show support for schools is to show up at events like back to school night, open house, support a fundraiser even, or just talk about school in general with your child in a positive light, what's going on at school, how's homework, what's going on with your teacher, those kinds of things are very important. But we can do more, I think, as a district to engage the public in dialogue. Whether that's like having town hall meetings. There's some restructuring I think our district needs to look at. There's some conversations about how we're configured, and I think the board wants to have study sessions about that, and we're going to be talking about that. Having different options for students when they approach the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Maybe there should be a K-8 school in our district, and not just the middle school. I think we'll always have a middle school, but maybe we'll have 1 or 2 K-8 schools. That might solve some other issues the districts have with transportation too.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point.
Transportation's been a problem for the district, so.
Yeah, all right. So everybody heard it here. Please reach out to your administrators and your teachers and get involved.
Yes, absolutely.
So is there anything else, since we only have a few minutes left, that we haven't touched on or that you'd like to talk about?
Well, just one thing, I meant to say this, because I say it to parents. They have a much harder time raising their children than I did. My youngest is now 35 years old. We didn't have the internet or Facebook or all that other stuff when they were growing up. They've got many, many more challenges now. And what Scott mentioned about, check the backpacks, find out what's going on. Yeah, that's more important to check what they're doing online, because a lot of the issues we see at school really don't have anything directly to do with school. It's happened in the evening before school or the day before school, and some conflict, and then it spills over into school. So not just get involved in the educational side of your child's education, but find out in the emotional side what's going on. And being a nosy parent is not a bad thing.
No.
Yeah. We need to touch on mental health. Maybe you'll come back, but we'll discuss that. What's going on in schools, and what would you like to add? To
not believe everything you see on social media. Don't jump onto that bandwagon. Our doors are open. Our phones are available. We will return your messages and phone calls. Reach out and ask questions because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and schools are complicated entities. So I ask people, just take a breath and come approach us, and we're glad to share. We are not hiding anything. We're very transparent and here to help and solution solve.
Yeah, thank you both. I mean, it's very informative. I feel really great about hearing what you say and about the programs, and just your dedication to the students and the communities that you serve is like unbelievable. So I really, I thank you for that. I hope that parents out there will watch and hear and will spread the news, be like me, join your PTA, join your group, go to the swim team, whatever it is, volunteer at school and help out, because if you say you're open and transparent, we should really take advantage of that. And I just want to say, so I did read that the graduation rate is like 95, 96%, and those students are going on to college or to work, adding to our community, adding to the workforce. And I think it's because of the great education that they have received in our county. And so I wish you the best, and I thank you again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, great.